Everybody, it's Robert here again with Learningtodj.com, and we're continuing our series here on how you can get started DJing with just your laptop, no equipment required. And we're taking a look here at Rekordbox again, and we're going to be covering the idea of using loops and the technology of looping in order to kind of get one part of a track to play over and over and over again. So looking here at Rekordbox, my setup here, we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab a track from our collection view. I'm going to grab the track here, I've Got You, and I'm going to click and drag and drop it into the first deck. It's going to load up. We're going to see on our waveform visualizer that we've got our track here, and we can go ahead and hit play. I'm just going to pull the crossfader to the middle here. And now the concept of a loop is basically it allows a DJ to play one part of a track over and over and over again for as long as the loop is enabled. So we can go ahead and we can enable a loop by coming over to this section of the deck and highlighting this button here, which in this case says 8. And we just need to engage a loop by clicking that button. And you'll see that the waveform has changed to kind of a little bit more of a yellow background. And now the track is going to continue to recycle and repeat that section of the track essentially forever unless we disable the loop. And to disable the loop, we just need to come back over here, highlight, and click the button again so that now the track is no longer looping. So one of the interesting things about loops that we can do is we can actually extend our loops so that we can either have more than 8 or less than 8 beats. So for example, here we have an 8-beat loop, and we can go ahead and we can extend that to 2 times to a 16-beat loop. And this will basically increase the size of the loop by 2 times. And similarly, we'll go back and it will repeat once again. We can increase the size even more to 32-beat loop, and we can continue to extend so forth and so forth and so forth until, I guess, a 512 beats, which is the maximum that Rekordbox supports. Similarly, we can also decrease the size of the loop. So we can go from a 32-beat loop to a 16-beat loop, to an 8-beat loop, to a 4-beat loop, to a 2-beat loop, to a 1-beat loop, 1/2, 1/4, 1/8, and so on and so forth. I don't want to go all the way down to the end because it can get a little bit kind of crazy. So looping allows DJs to essentially repeat one part of the song over and over and over again. And this can be helpful if you're trying to make a transition from one track to the next, or maybe you're at the end of a song and you don't want the playback. So for example, if we want to demonstrate kind of a quick little loop usage here, we're going to play this track here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to engage a loop because we're going to start a transition into a second track on the second deck here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a track from my Explorer here, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hit play, and we have beat sync on. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly start the transition here from the first track into the second track. And so as you can see, the second track is now playing off. We can now pause the first track and we can continue on with our track here. Now, the benefit of using looping in this case was that the track doesn't end early because we would definitely want to avoid the music stopping all of a sudden while we're in preparation and preparing for the next track. That would break the flow, that would break the enjoyment and the joy of playing the music out to the entire party. So hopefully this has been helpful. Look out for my next video as we go a little bit deeper into this topic of DJing with just a laptop.